Warfare teaches us about human nature, both of its extremes, the way it can bring out sometimes the best in people, but also how it can bring out the worst evils that one can possibly imagine. People talk about saying that it's always the winners who write the history of the war. Actually, I've found it's the reverse. The best accounts of almost any war, whether the Spanish Civil War or the Russian Civil War, have often been written by the losers. They're the ones who have their own personal views, their own experiences, rather than the winners, who tend to reflect the political and social objectives, in fact, of the winners, whether under Franco, the nationalists in Spain, or, of course, in Russia, of the Soviet regime itself. I think it's very important that the real histories should be not military history, but they should be the history of war, because one should be covering the horrors inflicted on the women and the children, the old men, those civilians who become the refugees of war, but also on the individual soldiers who have no control over their own fate. They too are victims. And I think it's vital that when one is dealing with this era of totalitarianism, one needs to convey, particularly to a younger generation today, how important it is to understand the horrors of those sort of periods when we're seeing similar threats arising today, not perhaps between left and right, but now between autocracy and democracy.